Hi, my name's Dave. I'm your host. You're listening to The Last Podcast, where the first shall be last and the last shall be first. If this is the first time you're listening, welcome. And if you're returning, welcome back. I really appreciate you listening, and I hope you continue to find tips, ideas, and value from listening to this podcast. Today, I want to talk about life transition. And I know we all go through that transition in life every now and then, but I believe that life transitions, whether it's a new career, the end of a relationship, becoming a parent, or even moving to a new city, or even retirement, those are sometimes the most emotionally charged times in our lives. And I know that whoever goes through those times, there is sometimes a little doubt. There's sometimes we might even deal with self-esteem issues or confidence, right? They shake our foundation, not just, I guess, about who we are or what we do. I think it shakes sometimes the very essence of who we believe we are. And at the core of those transitions, self-esteem and confidence often gets tested the most. What do you think? I mean, I know that I'm in a life transition. I was in a life transition for about 3 years now. And I could tell you, self-esteem, identity, self-worth, all of it comes up. And if you don't look at yourself, sometimes you can really get into a slump. I know, I'm talking from experience. Life transition is not just about changes on the outside. It's about that shift that we actually feel on the inside. And sometimes that shift that people feel, sometimes it's like a raging storm. Self-esteem is, I guess, how we view or value ourselves. It probably, if you ever ask this question, am I good enough or am I enough? Think about it. If you're going through that transition in life, do I have what it takes, or whatever the case may be? This question is, I don't think it's really about skill. I think it's about, when people are asking that question, I think it's more about identity and worth. When people ask, am I good enough? What they're really saying, do I have the value beyond what I think I can achieve? Or if I fail, will I still be worthy? Will others accept me for who I am now? I mean, some of those questions might come up, or you just might think, can I really go through this again? And the answer is yes. Why does this show up in transitions? And I mean, in my own transition, I know I had a lot of roles that I play, but you think about your own life transition, a role, whether it's a job loss, a career, a divorce, retirement. I think all those things can strip away your external markets and your value for that external thing that you're holding as a part of your identity. I remember when my family passed away, I asked myself, who am I outside of the relationships, outside of being a brother, a nephew, a husband, and so on? I had to dig deep. I had to dive into my own identity and look at how all those relationships and how my identity were tied up and what that meant for me now. I mean, that's some serious work if you think about it. Without the title, without the relationships or the old identity, we can sometimes feel exposed. We can sometimes feel lost completely, where you don't know what's going on, right? So you think about it. Sometimes that lost feeling, you already are enough. I don't think you have to ask that question. But even though sometimes in that internal dialogue it does come up, you're already enough because worth is not inherent. It's not conditional. Your value isn't earned, it's the expression. So I want you to think about something. I want you to write down 3 statements about your own identity outside of all the hats you might wear. Who am I? Write down 3 statements of who you are that represent you, not about who you are connected to. Except if you want to do deity, God almighty. I mean, that's up to you. I'm not trying to sway you one way or another, but I want you to write down 3 statements that depict who you are outside of all the hats you wear, all the roles that you play in life. At the core of your being, who are you? And as you detach from all those roles, I want you to list 5 qualities about yourself that will still exist outside of all the relationships and your jobs. If all that were to change, I want you to list 5 outstanding qualities about yourself. Write it all down, okay? Once you do that, I want you to replace all the harsh self-talk that you have for yourself, and I want you to replace it with compassion, as if this was your best friend. You are your best friend. I want to make sure you write down everything in positive statements, okay? I want you to write it down, and everything must be positive, because we need to tackle any limiting belief or dialogues that you might have running through your head. Now, that is basically saying all this about your self-esteem, right? But what about confidence? I mean, because when we're starting something new, there's a lot of us who are not confident. We're not sure that we can we do this? This question is about ability and trust in the execution of whatever it is that we decide to do. When people ask, can I do this? They're really saying, do I have what it takes to face the unknown? Can I trust in my skills, my resilience, my adaptability? Can I do this? Can I handle the mistakes without giving up? And that's the key. Without giving up. Even if I go through all of this, can I still make it? I think so often people want to quit because they don't see anything happening. I mean, I was like that too. It's about trusting in yourself through the uncertainty, through all the doubt, through all the internal murmuring you might have going on in your brain. You might have to learn how to retrust yourself all over again. And believe me, it reminds me of when God brought all the people out of Egypt and they started murmuring. He wanted them to trust him that he would take them and lead them into the land flowing with milk and honey. And all the people who doubted, they never made it. But he wanted that trust. And sometimes you got to learn to retrust yourself. You have to learn to trust in your abilities, learn to grow and learn to adapt. And know beyond a shadow of a doubt, you can do it. You can make it. You are good enough. And when things are unfamiliar, it seems like, right? I don't know about you, but sometimes when things are unfamiliar, it might even amplify your doubt, like a new job, a new city, a new season of life. Past failures can resurface and remind us of how we failed at something or why we can't do something. And then you might notice in some instances, confidence often gets confused with uncertainty or certainty, but they're not the same. And I do know that transitions both can take a hit. When you are in a new role or whatever the case may be, your confidence is supposed to be low because you're learning something new. You're not good at it yet. And you got to understand that. And it's okay. It's all right. So uncertainty, the unknown always amplifies fear. Remember that. But, we don't want to remember our past mistakes to say and let it amplify our fears. We want to measure ourselves up against what we're going to now. And we know that we can make it. We know that we can achieve it. We have to believe that. And we say, you know what? I might not be good at this right now. But guess what? I'm learning every day. I'm getting better every day. And sometimes when we lose that identity, who am I if I'm no longer that person? That's why it's so important to write down all that information of who you are outside of all of your connections. And what you do for work or what you do for play or whatever the case may be. Who are you outside of all of that? Hey, I am going to be closing this out right now. I think I just give you a quick final word. I believe life transitions are not meant to diminish you. They're designed to reveal the strength in you, make you stronger, wiser, more resilient. That version of you that's becoming. And believe this or not, self-esteem isn't about perfection. It's about accepting your worth, no matter what stage in life you're in. So the next time you face transition, don't see it as the end of your story. See it as a chapter where you learn what you truly are made of. So think about this. In my final word, you've asked the question, am I good enough? Can I do this? The answer from the deepest part of your being is absolutely yes. You are not defined by your mistakes, titles, or opinions of others. You are defined by the courage it takes to keep you moving forward. Every transition, every challenge, every fear you face is not proof of weakness. It's proof that life is calling you to rise. So today I challenge you. Believe that you are worthy even before you achieve. Believe that you are capable even when the path feels uncertain. And believe what you have, everything within you, to step into the new chapter of your strength, of your life, of your future. It's the new beginning. The world doesn't need a perfect version of you. It needs you to be real, resilient. It needs to be you that's growing. So stand tall, take the step, trust your voice, because you are good enough. And yes, you can do this. My name is Dave. You're listening to The Last Podcast. Hey, do me a favor, subscribe, do me a favor, and like this podcast. Thank you very much for listening. Be blessed. So long.